What if I told you that a tiny 10-cent coin, something most people ignore every single day on it, could secretly be worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars? Yes, we're talking about the Roosevelt dime, a coin many people spend without a second thought. It was first introduced in 1946 to honor the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, one of the most influential leaders in American history. Since then, billions of these dimes have been produced. They are common. They are small. They are ordinary. Or at least that's what most people believe. But hidden among these everyday coins are extremely rare treasures that have stunned collectors and shocked the coin market. Some Roosevelt dimes have sold for jaw-dropping prices at major auctions, not because they are made of gold, not because they are ancient, but because of tiny details, a rare mint mark, a low mintage year, a silver composition, or even a small minting error that slipped past quality control at the U.S. Mint. Imagine finding a simple dime in your drawer, only to discover it's a rare 1949S with exceptional condition, or a 1968 no-S proof error, or a rare transitional silver issue worth a fortune. These coins may look normal at first glance, but to trained collectors, they are legendary. The Roosevelt dime has a powerful story. It replaced the Mercury dime shortly after Roosevelt's passing, symbolizing strength, resilience, and recovery. But over the decades, certain years and errors have become some of the most desirable modern coins in American numismatics. In today's video, we're going deep into the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever discovered. We'll reveal the rare dates, the mint marks you must check immediately, the silver issues that hold serious value, and the error coins that have sold for unbelievable amounts. Before you spend your next dime, before you empty that old piggy bank, and before you ignore that small silver coin in your collection, watch this video till the very end, because the next life-changing coin might already be in your pocket. Now let's talk about one of the most unique and surprising coins on our list, the 2007 Roosevelt dime. At first glance, a 2007 dime looks completely ordinary. It's modern. It's common. It's something you've probably used to buy candy or received as change from a shop. Millions of people have handled it, without ever imagining it could be worth more than 10 cents. But here's where the story gets interesting. In 2007, the United States Mint produced billions of Roosevelt dimes for circulation. Most were struck in copper nickel-clad composition, just like other modern dimes after 1965. However, hidden among the normal production were extremely rare error coins and special varieties that shocked collectors. One of the most talked about discoveries is the 2007 dime struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin was accidentally struck on metal, intended for another denomination. Imagine a Roosevelt design appearing on a blank meant for a penny or even a foreign coin. These rare mint errors are not supposed to exist, but a few slipped through quality control. There have also been dramatic off-center strikes, double-die varieties, and missing clad layer errors from 2007 that turned this common coin into a collector's dream. Some examples show weak or distorted details, dramatic misalignment, or unusual weight differences, all signs that something extraordinary happened during the minting process. Picture this. Someone receives change at a grocery store in 2007. They toss the dime into a jar. Years later, while sorting coins, they notice something odd. The coin looks slightly different. Maybe the color is unusual. Maybe the design is off-center. Maybe it feels lighter or heavier than normal. That small moment of curiosity could turn into a shocking discovery worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. High-grade 2007 dimes in perfect mint state condition, especially those graded MS68 or higher, can also command impressive prices. Modern coins in flawless condition are much rarer than people think, because even tiny scratches reduce value dramatically. The 2007 Roosevelt dime teaches us an important lesson in coin collecting. Age is not everything. Even a modern coin can become highly valuable if it has the right error, the right condition, or the right rarity. So if you have 2007 dimes sitting in your collection, don't ignore them. Check the mint mark. Examine the weight. Look closely at the details under good lighting. Because sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coin holds the most extraordinary secret. Now let's move to another fascinating and highly collectible coin on our list, the 1988 Roosevelt dime. At first glance, the 1988 dime looks completely normal. It carries the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, and the classic torch, olive branch, and oak branch design on the reverse. Billions of dimes like this were struck for circulation, Most people would never think twice before spending it. But 1988 holds a special place in the world of modern coin, collecting because of one, extremely rare and mysterious, variety that changed everything. In 1988, the United States Mint produced dimes at multiple facilities, including Philadelphia and San Francisco. Proof coins were struck in San Francisco with an S mint mark, while regular circulation coins from Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark. However, something unusual happened. A very small number of 98 proof dimes were discovered without the S mint mark. Yes, completely missing. This variety is known as the legendary 1988 no S proof Roosevelt dime, and it is one of the rarest modern proof coin errors ever found. Proof coins are specially made for collectors. They are carefully struck with polished dies and mirror-like surfaces. Because they are made with extra attention to detail, errors on proof coins are extremely rare. That's why when collectors discovered a 1988 proof dime missing its mint mark, it caused shockwaves in the coin community. Imagine opening a sealed proof set, admiring the shiny coins, and suddenly noticing something is wrong. The mint mark is missing. At first, you might think it's a small detail, but in the world of coin collecting, that tiny missing letter can mean thousands of dollars. Only a very limited number of these no-S proof dimes are known to exist. Because of their rarity and demand, high-grade examples have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at major auctions. Some have crossed the $20,000 mark depending on condition and certification. But that's not the only reason 1988 dimes can be valuable. High-grade mint state 1988 circulation dimes, especially from Philadelphia or Denver in MS67 or higher, can also bring strong premiums. Modern coins are difficult to find in perfect condition because even small contact marks reduce their grade significantly. The 1988 Roosevelt dime proves that sometimes the smallest detail, just one missing letter, can transform a common coin into a rare treasure. So if you ever come across a 1988 proof set, examine it carefully. Look closely at the mint mark under good lighting, because that tiny S, if missing, could turn an ordinary dime into a 5-figure payday. Never underestimate modern coins. Sometimes the biggest surprises come from the years nobody expects. Now let's take a much deeper look at the 1985 Roosevelt dime, a coin that many people overlook, but one that holds surprising potential for serious collectors. When you see a 1985 dime, it feels modern. It doesn't have the old silver shine of pre-1965 issues. It doesn't look rare. It doesn't look historic. It simply carries the familiar image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, and the torch flanked by olive, and oak branches on the reverse, a design Americans have recognized for decades. But here's where things become interesting. In 1985, the United States Mint was operating at full production capacity. Dimes were struck in Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark for circulation, while San Francisco produced special proof versions marked with an S. On paper, mintage numbers were high, meaning this coin should be common, and in circulated condition, it is. However, what separates a 10-cent coin from a $1,000 coin is not always mintage. It's condition and rarity at the highest grade levels. Modern coins like the 1985 dime were struck in massive quantities and stored in large canvas mint bags. During transportation and distribution, coins banged against each other, creating tiny nicks and contact marks. Because of this, truly flawless examples are extremely hard to find. Most coins entered circulation quickly and picked up wear almost immediately. That's why a 1985 dime graded MS67, MS68, or higher by professional grading services can command impressive prices. In ultra-high grades, population numbers drop dramatically. A coin that looks ordinary to the naked eye may, under magnification, show microscopic imperfections, and those small flaws can make the difference between a common coin and a premium rarity. Now let's talk about the 1985 S proof Roosevelt dime. Proof coins are struck differently from regular coins. They use specially polished dies and planchets, and they are struck multiple times to create razor-sharp details and mirror-like backgrounds. The 1985 S proof dime often displays beautiful, deep cameo contrast, where the portrait appears frosted against glossy mirrored fields. While millions of proof sets were sold, finding a perfect proof 70 deep cameo example is far more difficult than people imagine. In top certified grades, these coins can sell for strong premiums because collectors compete fiercely for flawless, registry quality examples. But perhaps the most exciting part of the 1985 dime story lies in mint errors. Collectors have discovered off-center strikes. Double die varieties. Clipped planchets. Broad strikes. Missing clad layer errors. One particularly dramatic error is the missing clad layer dime. Because modern dimes are made of a copper core sandwiched between nickel layers, if one of those layers is missing, the coin may appear copper-colored on one side and weigh slightly less than normal. These errors are visually striking and highly collectible. Now let's go even deeper into one of the most surprising modern coins in the Roosevelt, numismatists. The 2021 Roosevelt dime. When you hear the year 2021, you probably think, that's way too new to be valuable. After all, it's not silver. It's not old. It hasn't been around for decades. It was recently struck by the United States, mint and released straight into everyday circulation. But here's the truth many collectors understand. Sometimes modern coins become valuable, faster than older ones, especially when rare errors, ultra-high grades, or low survival varieties are involved. In 2021, Roosevelt dimes were struck at Philadelphia with a P mint mark and at Denver with a D mint mark. San Francisco produced proof versions marked with an S for collectors. On the surface, production numbers were high. Millions upon millions were made. That sounds common. But coin collecting is not just about how many were made. It's about how many survive in perfect condition. Modern coins are struck at extremely high speeds. They are poured into bins, transported in bulk, and distributed quickly. Even brand new coins can have small nicks, bag marks, or weak strike areas. That's why finding a truly flawless 2021 dime is far harder than most people imagine. A 2021 dime-graded MS68, MS69, or the nearly impossible MS70 can command serious premiums. Registry collectors, those who compete to build the finest certified collections and are willing to pay strong prices for the highest graded examples. When population reports show only a small number at the top grade, demand rises sharply. Now let's talk about what truly excites collectors: mint errors. Even in modern times, mistakes happen. Despite advanced technology, the minting process is not perfect. Some 2021 Roosevelt dimes have been discovered with noticeable off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to improper alignment. Others show die cracks running through the torch or across Roosevelt's portrait. There have been reports of clipped planchets, where part of the coin's edge is missing, and even double die varieties that create subtle doubling in the lettering. Imagine this scenario. You receive change at a gas station. You toss the dime into your cup holder. Weeks later, while cleaning your car, you notice something strange about that coin. Maybe the rim looks uneven. Maybe the lettering seems doubled under magnification. Or maybe the coin appears slightly misaligned. That small detail could turn a 10-cent coin into a collectible worth hundreds, sometimes even more depending on the severity of the error. Now let's not forget the 2021 S-Proof Roosevelt dime. Proof coins are made differently. They are struck multiple times using polished dies to create sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. A deep cameo example waits where the frosted portrait contrasts beautifully against reflective fields is especially desirable. Now let's move to another modern year that many collectors underestimate: the 2012 Roosevelt dime. At first glance, the 2012 dime looks completely ordinary. The familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt appears strong and detailed on the obverse, while the torch, olive branch, and oak branch remain unchanged on the reverse. To most people, it's just another 10-cent coin. But 2012 carries a quiet story that makes it far more interesting than it seems. In 2012, the United States Mint struck Roosevelt dimes at Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, along with proof versions at San Francisco, S. Production numbers were substantial, meaning the coin is common in circulated condition. However, the real value lies in three key areas: condition rarity, proof quality, and mint errors. First, let's talk about condition. Modern coins are produced in huge quantities and handled in bulk. Even before entering circulation, many receive small contact marks from being stored in large bins. That means finding a 2012 dime in truly flawless mint state condition is much harder than people think. Coins graded MS68 or higher can command impressive premiums because only a limited number achieve that near-perfect status. Registry set collectors and who compete to own the finest graded examples and often pay strong prices for top population coins. A 2012 dime that looks normal could be worth significantly more if it's virtually perfect under magnification. Now let's talk about the 2012 S-Proof Roosevelt dime. Proof coins from 2012 were specially struck for collectors, using polished dies to create sharp details and deep mirrored surfaces. Deep cameo examples, where Roosevelt's portrait appears frosted against reflective fields, are especially desirable. In PR69 or PR70 deep cameo condition, these coins can sell for strong premiums due to their beauty and scarcity at the highest grades. But perhaps the most exciting part of the 2012 story lies in mint errors. Collectors have discovered 2012 dimes with off-center strikes, die cracks and die chips, doubled lettering, clipped planchets, weak strikes or misaligned dies. Because modern minting equipment runs at very high speeds, small mistakes can slip through quality control. When they do, these error coins quickly attract collector attention. Imagine receiving change in 2012 and tossing the dime into a jar. Years later, while searching through your coins, you notice something unusual. Maybe the torch looks slightly distorted, maybe the rim isn't perfectly round, or maybe the lettering shows subtle doubling. That moment of curiosity could lead to discovering a valuable error coin. The 2012 Roosevelt dime reminds us of an important lesson in coin collecting. Modern does not mean worthless. Value often hides in perfection or in mistakes. So if you have 2012 dimes in your collection, take the time to inspect them carefully. Check the mint mark. Look at the edges. Use magnification to study the details. And that brings us to the end of our journey through some of the most valuable and fascinating Roosevelt dimes, coins that might seem ordinary at first glance, but hide incredible stories and astonishing value. From rare modern errors like the 2007 and 2021 dimes, to legendary proof varieties like the 1988 No S proof, to high-grade circulation treasures from 1985 and beyond, each coin has its own unique history and collector appeal. These dimes remind us that even the smallest coins can carry enormous surprises, sometimes worth thousands, even millions of dollars. The key lesson? Never underestimate the coins in your pocket, your drawer, or your collection. Condition, rarity, mint errors, and special varieties can turn even the most modern-looking Roosevelt dime into a collector's dream. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting out, there's always something exciting to discover. So next time you handle a dime, take a closer look. Study the mint mark. Examine the strike. Appreciate the details. Because the next life-changing coin, the one that could be worth far more than its face value, might already be in your hands. Remember, in the world of Roosevelt dimes, even the smallest coin can hold the biggest treasure. Keep your eyes sharp, your collection well-organized, and your passion for coins alive, and who knows, your next dime could make history.